Sean say? You can get the peace sign without the middle finger. What happened to Big Sean?
I don't know. Actually, no. I heard him on. It's on Larry June's newest. You listen to Larry June?
No.
Like this West Coast dude, kind of like on the same vibe as like Currency.
I need my headphones. Ooh, I like Currency. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. Oh yeah.
Check, check, check. Hey.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be fun, dude. I'm excited. Wait till the tequila starts flowing.
Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Drinko. Did you ever have a Casamigos?
I have. Oh yeah.
I don't know about Casamigos. It's my first adventure.
It's solid. Who's the actor that's? Is it no? Somebody's Robert. No, it's not Robert Downey Jr. It's George Clooney. I think that's his brand.
Oh, I'm drinking George Clooney tequila right now. Hey, is George Clooney is the one that the Soggy Bottom Boys? What's the name of that movie?
I'm the
love
worst,
that movie.
I'm the worst person in movies.
I'll come up with it, but basically it's got one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard, and it's the story of the Odyssey. So it's George Clooney as like with his friends escaping from prison, and it's set in probably like early 20th century, and they're like carrying out all of the different missions from Homer's Odyssey.
Okay.
So like, you know, in Homer, they have to get away from the Cyclops.
Right.
Well, there's a one-armed guy that they have to escape from. In Homer, there's sirens, and they have to tie themselves to the mast in order to not go off with the sirens because they're so attractive. Their sound is
interesting.
You need like a person to be on the internet.
Oh, right. What is that? Joe Rogan? Is Joe Rogan have a Jamie? Who is a Jamie?
Yeah, Joe Rogan. Glug, glug, glug.
Yes, sir.
Well, you did, I think, buy me at least one drink last time I was at Cobra.
I hope so.
Well, it had only been about 10 years since.
Cheers, man.
The last time. Cheers, brother. So.
What do you think?
Oh, my
Solid, right?
God, it's incredible. It tastes like vanilla.
Yeah.
Right?
A little sweet. Yep. Smooth. Not really like that nasally alcohol, you know.
No, I'm used to like feeling pain when I drink tequila.
Yeah, you get the.
Is that really 80 proof?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Wow. Well, DJ Bamboo here on the podcast, Alchemetical Notes. It's been too long.
Way too long, man.
And I've been so impressed with everything you put together.
Thanks, dude.
I've been really, really amazed at how you've pivoted from that DJ, that other Filipino DJ, to business owner, and now you're going on the PGA Tour. I heard.
Right.
You know, you're the NFT guy. I mean, what can't you do? You got
nothing, man. I can't sing. That's probably it.
Have you been DJing more, or have you been DJing less because of all the businesses?
I've been practicing. I still got my chops. Just DJing less. I get to concentrate kind of more on what I want. Yeah, it's cool.
What took you in that direction? Was it just financial, or you just were ready for the next thing?
It was COVID. A lot of it was COVID, man. I mean, when the gig stopped, it was hard, dude. So I decided to go, just find other outlets, build other muscles, if you will. And that was, design, that was business, that was, this Web3 crypto kind of world.
What got you into that? And can you kind of educate me a little bit on it? Because I'm still so like, I'm like barely MetaMask.
Yeah, absolutely. What got me, my ex-partner actually got me into it. During COVID, we were just bored, looking for things to do. Started investing in, just through Coinbase, $5, $10 here. Algorand was one of like the first coins I started diving into.
Yeah.
Obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then I was introduced through a couple of my friends about these like digital collectibles. At first it was NBA Top Shot. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
No.
They're basically like moments and like I don't know, someone does a slam dunk.
Yeah. So it's
Um,
like memorializing a part of a game.
exactly.
Oh, that's crazy.
Just
Like
little
somebody gets
clips.
posterized.
Exactly. And
Oh, that's
it's on
cool.
the blockchain or whatever, and you get to rip open packs, almost like Pokemon cards or trading cards, if you will. Um, yeah, did that for a little bit, and then saw these ugly pictures of monkeys come out,
Yep. Yep.
faded them
Board
hard.
ape?
Yep, faded them hard. I'm like, oh, these suck, they're terrible. Um, didn't buy them, but I did see the community that was forming. They had meetups in New York, um, LA. Everyone's getting together, being like, "Oh yeah," making weird monkey noises. I'm like, something's going on here.
Yeah.
Obviously, like they're at the forefront of everything now. Um,
Board
yeah,
ape is like the most valuable.
that and the CryptoPunks, those are like the OG.
Yep.
But yeah, now we're
So,
here.
yeah. So is it a money making opportunity, or is it neutral? Is it, I mean, like, how do you see NFTs right now?
It's a store of value. I look at it as almost like any collectible. I was really big into Pokemon cards growing up, um, action figures, all that shit.
Do you still have your cards, or do you sell them off?
Sold a lot. I actually sold a bunch of them to buy NFTs.
Nice.
I still have the important ones. But it's just a store of value. Like you're buying gold, you're buying silver. That's kind of how I look at it. But there is ways to make money. I have made a good amount of money trading here and there, almost like you would stocks. Leverage trading, or you could just hold on to them. You just buy spot or whatever.
Can you explain what an NFT is a little bit, just in case my mom's listening? Or like,
Yeah, of course. So it's a non-fungible token, which means like you can't hold it, right? It's kind of in the air, if you will. And these things can be digital collectibles, like I said. They can be membership passes. Um, I see them in the future being, car deeds, um, agreements on, properties, medical records. Um, this is all just, looking forward, but blockchain technology is really cool. It's all transparent. It's a really long receipt. So let's say I buy a picture of a, I don't know, cat, right? And you buy it 3 months after. You'll be able to see it on the blockchain.
yeah. I guess like the idea is anything that can end up on there eventually, like that needs to be transparent or that needs to be recorded, like it will, something like that.
Correct.
Yeah. I guess you were talking about this other cryptocurrency as well. So are you mostly Bitcoin, Ethereum, or are you like, do you believe in those two as like long-term investments, or how do you see cryptocurrency?
Um, as of right now, it's a pretty, we say, bear market. You know what I mean? There's not much attention. Everyone is kind of making fun of the space right now. Things are down. But I do believe in it. Like I said before, the transparency of everything being on chain is, I feel like, possibilities are endless. Um, and yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I'm super, super optimistic. We say in the Web3 space, bullish,
Yep.
super bullish on. Yeah, and that's, like I said, just store of value instead of you know, which is probably smart, just putting it in a savings. But I just don't trust banks at the moment. Um,
Yeah, who would? We
right.
saw another one, I think another West Coast bank go down today, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, what about like the other coin, like the meme coins, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin,
Right.
same deal. Also excited.
Yeah, I mean, I've bought and traded Shiba, Doge. There's this new one right now called Pepe, which is fire. I just bought a bunch maybe like a week ago. Uh, but
But
it's hot potato at the end of the
his
day.
IP is owned, I think, by somebody else.
Correct, which
Yeah,
that is sketchy there. So like,
concern.
eyes are always on the charts and on the streets on Twitter, just waiting for the signal.
I think the Twitter piece is significant because I just had Femi on the podcast on Wednesday. Her partner Wade
Yep,
is
that's my guy.
you know very interested in this whole community and this whole movement. Web3, I guess, is one way of describing it.
Yep.
And the piece that I took away from it, there were a couple things, but one thing I do after I have these podcasts is I listen to them because I have to edit them. And when I was going through and taking away all the different individuals, all the different references that had been made over the course of the conversation that I had with her, I noticed that every single one of the artists that she had referenced was on Twitter. That every single one of these up and coming young hip hop artists had a Twitter. And not only did they have one, it wasn't just that it existed, it was that they were active within the last week. They were active within the last month. They were using it, had great followee ratios. And it just seemed like I thought Twitter had completely died. And this conversation, I think, really changed that a lot.
Yeah. Twitter is a wild monster now. I don't know if you remember Clubhouse back in the day, where people would
Yep.
be like just vocal interactions. They kind of Twitter has this same kind of thing. It's called Spaces.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
hosted a bunch, back in the day. I really don't have time anymore, but I was a Spaces host, if you will. And they're cool, man. You interact with these people from across the globe. For the same, you guys are very optimistic in the same space, and you get together and just talk. I mean, we'll talk crypto, NFTs, making moves or whatnot, but also just personal stuff, man.
Mm.
And it really helps. Me personally, at that time when I got through it, I was going through a breakup. I was lonely, whatever, and that's how I made friends. And that's how I kept a connection with the other human beings. And it's cool. And you end up meeting these people. I go to a bunch of meetups. I went to, I think it was this time last year. There was NFT NYC, big big meetup. I went to there was this thing called Ape Fest, which is what the board apes throw. It's a festival, man. Saw like the Roots opened up for Future. Like what?
What do you mean? What do you mean the bored apes threw it? Who are the
uh,
bored apes?
so it's their umbrella company's Yuga Labs. And Yuga Labs owns all the top projects, like your CryptoPunks, your Bored Apes. There's like this thing called Me Bits. They're like little pixelated characters. But yeah, they threw that. And your NFT, your Bored Ape or whatever was your pass into that festival, if you will.
Whoa! So you had to own an ape in order to go?
That or I got a +1 from a homie, but yeah.
Wow! So it's almost like, yeah. So it becomes your avatar or like your persona in some way. Because I've seen people have them as their Twitter biopics as well, right?
Right, right. Yeah, it does. Some people do. Just take it and use that IP, if you will. Build a character around it. I have a homie, Nana, who his AP's named Millie Meditate. And you could stick him on a can of water. You could make marijuana products, whatever, and that's your character. You know what I mean? And it's tied to you, but also the bigger umbrella of Bored Ape, Yuga Labs, whatever.
But not anybody can just make one. I can't make my own ape and have it be me.
Correct. In the space, yeah, that's kind of a no. Because you can trace it back, right? I can look up, I can reverse Google search this ape that you just came up with and be like, oh, this doesn't exist, or oh, this belongs to another person.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So do you have one now or no?
I do not.
You have like other types of NFT community things.
Right, right.
Kaijus?
Yeah, Kaiju Kings. What else? Sappy Seals.
Yeah, you've been posting the seals, and you could
Yeah,
make them your little watch background too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the one reason why you got an Apple Watch.
Yeah, well, it's cool. I think there's a couple reasons. You know, I have a lot of patients who fall, and I talk to them a lot about Apple Watch and the technology and the opportunities there.
Yeah,
You know, the thing we used to have was a a necklace with a button,
the help
and
I've fallen and can't get up. That thing.
exactly,
Yeah,
but it doesn't help because if you're past, you know, if you syncopize,
you
you're
have
not
no
conscious,
right.
so it's not helpful. And Apple has really, I think, created a really interesting product in that they have this fall sensing technology where they can just automatically dial 911. There's diseases like progressive supranuclear palsy, which is an atypical Parkinsonism that's defined by early falls. It's like what we learn is people fall. That's what makes the disease what it is. And now we have something to at least offer. I mean, it's not covered by insurance. You
It's
know,
still cool though, man.
it's
Still really
something.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah. So I like that idea. I'm sure somebody, you know, somebody else will come along and copy it, but maybe for the best, you know,
right.
maybe it'll be good if we get more people on this. The, um, I think the big one they were advertising was like the biker. It was a mountain biker maybe who had fallen out on a trail and they were
Okay.
able to triangulate his location
Yeah,
and
yeah.
rescue him.
That's amazing, man.
Uh, so my thing is I can't wear it every day because I like watches. I don't,
Same.
you know, I want to wear a watch.
Yeah. No, same. I'm actually in like kind of the no Apple Watch club right now, just because I don't know, it's telling me a lot. And you're right, it is useful for certain things. I used it to track my sleep. I have sleep apnea, so it's good for just keeping track of how I'm doing, how much sleep I'm getting. But at the same time, sometimes I just want to look at my wrist and just see the time.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
especially with analog. For me, it's important to have something on my body that's not connected to the internet somehow. I think having something with a, you know, not necessarily a battery, but with stored kinetic energy and like solar charging my watch in Tulum was cool. And then since you're talking about health, I have to bring something up. Today I diagnosed myself. I figured out a major problem. I had a major breakthrough today.
What happened?
So I've had this weird neck pain for the last since my daughter was born, since November. Off and on, just came and went. It was like you know, I think when I was sleeping at the hospital, I thought maybe I had like a crick in my neck because of like, you know, I don't know if you know how it works at the hospital when you're in the birthing suites or whatever, but it's not exactly comfortable.
Okay.
You know, I was sleeping on like a little Group W bench of like hard is like the gym mat. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right.
And so I figured that's what it was, and I was like, all right, I'll just see what happens, wait it out, whatever. It got better, and I forgot about it. Sent a message to my PCP. Was like, hey, I have this thing. Like, he's like, give me a call next week. We'll talk about it. Phone tag. Never got through. Couldn't figure it out. Eventually, you know, I was thinking maybe it's a lymph node, some kind of like infection, whatever. But it didn't correlate with my infections because I had a couple colds and it didn't, you know, it didn't match up. Sialolithiasis.
Oh man, you need to break it down.
It's a submandibular salivary gland. So we have salivary glands under the angle of our jaw, the angle of the mandible here, and then under the tongue. There's also one in the cheek called the parotid. So there's 3 salivary glands. And this is the one that's 90% of the stones form in the one under the angle of the jaw. And it starts in men from like 30 to 50. There you go. Boom.
Interesting. I need to turn my.
Boom.
Oh, sorry, this thing keeps.
Sorry, we
off.
could soundtrack. What's the name of the thing that on radio shows where they mash the button and it kind of, you know, you can play some music. What's it called?
Like the
844
sample buttons.
Oh yeah. And then there's also a really cool one for Twitch or for OBS where you can change the scenes. So I could switch between us by hitting like a hotkey here, so that people could see different two of us live.
Oh, right. Yeah. I've seen this.
Yeah.
It's a what are those little things like a roadcaster or something,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Something like that. I was talking to. I went to a thing with Selecta because he's kind of big into the live streaming, and he was talking about which one to buy. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a whole nother art, man. That's something that I kind of wish I dove into during, lockdown or whatnot. I kind of, like we said before, made that pivot, but that's a whole nother art form when it comes to DJing, man. It's so cool.
I'm pretty sure you made the right call.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me about Lumpia Larry's.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's a little pop-up shop I'm doing, Filipino street food. Speaking of Web3 and whatnot, I use one of my NFTs as the logo. This little purple alien dude.
Oh, cool. I was wondering what that thing was.
Yeah, man. Just did. Actually, it's not just now. It was the beginning of the year. Did a pop up at Cobra, on New Year's Day with Honcho.
Okay, cool. Honcho is like the hot mask guys, like Aaron and somebody else.
Yep.
That's awesome. We were talking about them. Who was I talking about them with? This one guy I work with at UPMC is like he's a performer sometimes at Hot Mass, and we were talking about it. That's what's up. So where have you done it so far?
Just there so far. Looking actually as we speak at a bunch of meetings this past couple weeks about new locations. There's a bunch of restaurants in town that do pop-ups on days they're closed. So yeah, just shopping around, trying to see what fits the brand, what fits the vibe, and it's going from there.
Tell me about the food itself. Like what exactly is it?
So it's Filipino street food. Basically, one of my taglines is no frills, all feels. So it's we do this egg roll, if you will. It's a very skinny egg roll with a different wrapper. It's like a flaky wrapper. It's called that lumpia. That could be filled with ground pork, vegetables. I did a Reuben lumpia, which is fire. Just corned beef, Swiss cheese, a little bit of sauerkraut. I have a Philly one, which is just shredded beef and American cheese.
Yeah.
Trying to feed into the American taste palette in a vessel that is still true to Filipino street food.
I love it. There was a amazing food truck in South Florida, which was called let me see. They had Philly cheesesteak egg rolls or something like that.
Okay.
Like they had all these different egg rolls that were like included. Like one was a Philly cheesesteak. I know that, and incredible vibe. Yeah. Do you want to do a food truck? Would you think about it or no?
Yeah. That has been a goal of mine for a really long time, actually. And this street food thing is kind of a little side quest, if you will, to my overall goal of doing like Filipino fine dining.
Yeah. It'll be the next restaurant after Cobra. Like you'll get somebody to manage Cobra full time, and then you'll be able to like start the next kind of venture.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's Filipino food's really popping in like your New York, your LA's, your Miami's. And I kind of want to be the person that spearheads that movement here.
I love it. I had one of the best, I think probably the best Christmas of my entire life at Bonnick's place, eating Filipino food all day, all night, just being woken up at 4:00 in the morning to the smell of pork and fried rice, and just literally there was food 24/7. There was no part of the 3 days that I was in Philadelphia, no part of the day, of any day, was there not food, fresh, ready, delicious, incredible, just to be eaten. And none of it was anything I'd had before. It was all like something else. And I think the Asian food experience of this Midwestern Jew was so limited in scope, just growing up on this Americanized Chinese thing without any exposure to anything else. Maybe a little Thai if you're, lucky, you get a little pad Thai, but that's it. It's like General Tso and pad Thai. We got to get beyond this.
Right.
This frame, right?
Oh yeah. No, yeah, and that's the cool thing with Filipino cuisine, is kind of the culmination of everything. So like the history with the Philippines is, we were conquered by Spaniards and whatever, you know what I mean, and a lot of that food has stayed there. Um, we do the whole roast pig lechon. Spanish people know about that, you know what I mean. A lot of our language is still Spanish, chair in Tagalog, which is like the main Filipino language, is sia. It's the same thing in
Mm.
Spanish. And the cuisine too. Yeah, we've empanadas. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of Asian culture has empanadas, dude? Like, it's nuts. So it's like a mix of Spanish, a lot of Cantonese influence, just because it's right across the ocean, if you will. Um, a lot of noodles, a lot of the spring rolls, the lumpia, like that's very Cantonese. Um,
And then there's the American influence too, right? Because we were also
so much, yeah.
the colonizers for some time, from the 70s at least.
Yep, yeah, so much. So the burgers are big there. Jollibee's like one of the fast food restaurants out of there. There's some here in the U.S. now. I think the closest one is probably like Jersey. Yeah, burgers, pizza, fries. Like we do it all there.
Do you still have family back in the Philippines?
The majority of my family is, yeah.
How did you end up here?
Through UPMC. Actually, my mom got a job. She was a nurse, and that was that. I don't know.
Wow. So just randomly picked Pittsburgh, or?
No, I mean we had family here. Um, my aunt and uncle lived in Monroeville. They opened up an ice rink there back in the day, Golden Mile. It's like this. My
Whoa.
uncle made it from like his bare hand. Literally built it from scratch. So that was like my dad's opportunity. You know what I mean? He kind of worked that there, ran the pro shop. And yeah, that was kind of their, I don't know, alley oop into here.
Yeah. So there's definitely like a tradition of entrepreneurialism in your family.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Um, it's just being creative, doing what you love, man. My uncle built that ice rink just because his kids loved hockey. You know what I mean? And that became a center for hockey in Western Pennsylvania. The Penguins practice there. Um, all your like, I guess the East Side schools, your Plums, your Penn Hills, your Woodland Hills, that was their home court. And it was cool that little Asian dude made all that.
But you never got on the skates, or?
Oh yeah, I learned how to skate right after I learned how to walk, man.
Wow. Wow. I love ice skating. I haven't been back on. I grew up with like a pair of Bauer skates that
Oh
I
yeah,
think they were probably like just before my feet stopped growing. So like right now, I don't think they would fit me. Um, but throughout most of my teens and whatever, like I was always skating, and a lot of roller hockey too when
okay,
I was growing up. Um, Jew camp, Jewish summer camps in West Virginia,
okay.
Emma Kaufman camp, roller hockey, and then a lot of, yeah, loved ice skating. Fantastic. It was more. I think it was bigger for the females in our class. Like there were a couple kids, like there were a couple of the boys in my class who could afford hockey. It was like the expensive sport.
It is, yeah.
Most of the kids, like most of us, were soccer, baseball, maybe a little football,
Right, right,
basketball, like the cheap ones where you don't need gear.
right. Yeah, the gear was expensive. I obviously had that. Like I said, my dad ran the pro shop at the rink. We, I mean, they made my parents made it work somehow. I don't know, but it was cool.
That's what's up. So, did you grow up here, or where were you born?
I was born in McGee,
Wow.
but I grew up in Monroeville.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you ever live anywhere outside Pittsburgh, or?
I lived in Bradford, Pennsylvania for like 2 years when I went to college. That's about it.
Yep. So you got a degree in, was it communications, music, business?
I did not get a degree, but I did spend 4 years there, which I know I probably should have. But I was going for biology and like physical therapy at the time.
That's right. I remember something about PT with you.
Yeah.
Were you working in PT for a little bit while you
I
were
was
like DJing?
shadowing. Yeah, yeah. Shadowing people, just trying to, see the ropes. I was really into sports medicine. Um, yeah.
I love the idea of sports medicine. I have a buddy who I was in med school with who ended up doing, I think, emergency medicine. And now he's pivoted to do more concussion work in South Florida. And then I have another friend who's really focused on sports medicine who went the orthopedics route.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's an orthopedic surgeon, finishing his residency at Hammett in Erie.
Okay.
And I think he accepted a position in pure sports medicine in South Florida. So
That's
it's
beautiful.
gonna be,
Yeah.
yeah. I've thought about it a lot. I met with the chief medical officer of the NFL when I was interviewing in Philadelphia,
Oh, damn.
which was amazing.
Yeah.
Talking about like, does the gear do anything? Why are we wearing the helmets we're wearing? I had somebody I was talking to recently who's a big rugby player his whole life. He's like long since retired, but he played professionally for a decade. And he's talking about how they don't get any injuries and why. And I was asking him, like, why don't rugby players get injuries? Why don't rugby players have CTE? Why don't rugby players have the rate of career-ending injuries that NFL players have? I mean, it's an interesting question because they don't wear pads, they
Right,
don't
right,
wear
right.
helmets, and you know, I think the one main thing that he said that kind of stuck out to me was there's no stop and start. So in the NFL, you start from a stopping position, you accelerate into a full speed, and then you collide with somebody.
Right.
Then you recharge, rest. But in both soccer and in rugby, the game doesn't stop. It's just a
Right.
continuous kind of movement and flow and pulse. I think that maybe that has something to do with it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It really is. Do you think it's also just like the mentality too? Like, is there like some kind of mutual respect, rugby players have, and where in the NFL everyone just wants to like kill each other, take each other's heads off?
I think maybe I haven't thought about that. I think when you're wearing a helmet, you're like when you're wearing pads. I know this from being a skateboarder. So like when I skateboard in a park, I can't really do anything unless I'm wearing pads. And it's because I don't have the confidence. Like
Right.
clearly I have the ability to do the things, but I won't even drop in. I won't even go down the ramp without a helmet on. And I think it's just pure like that extra set of confidence that having that helmet on gives you. And so
Right.
maybe that's part of it. So you're wearing all the pads, you're going to go hard and crash
Absolutely,
into
yeah.
somebody and take somebody's head off. But I don't know. It feels a little barbaric, right? Like, do you think people are going to be playing football the way they're playing right now in 2050?
I don't know, man. It might be even crazier, dude. It might like start introducing like spiked baseball bats and stuff.
What about like esports, or like, is everything going to be holographic? Is it just going to be cerebral exercises, the metaverse?
It's all just going to be AI, dude. Everyone's just going to plug something in the Chat GPT and no,
Chat GPT is incredible.
It's nuts, dude.
That's how I got the name for this for the podcast.
Really, that's cool. I wrote my
Yeah.
business plan for Lumpularity using
Using
Chat.
the
Not
ChatGPT?
completely, but a little bit. Yeah.
Do you get some funding from it? From the business plan?
For Chat GPT?
No, for Lumpularity. You got funding based on a ChatGPT generated business plan.
Oh no, if that's possible, then I'm about to make that happen.
I assume if you wrote a business plan, it's because you wanted to go to a bank and get a loan.
Oh no! Oh no! Yeah. Eventually, yeah. I got you. I thought you meant like if Chat GPT like threw me a couple bucks.
No, I don't think they're sponsoring anyone right now, but should. Yeah, they I guess they would have to sponsor our podcast and your pop up. So I want a food truck really bad. I want the this food truck called Meat and Fruit. So far, that's the idea. It's just literally meat and fruit. So it's a ribeye with mango, tuna steak with avocado, a chicken thigh with papaya.
That sounds so good.
So
dude.
far, that's it.
Yeah.
Like with salt, lime, or lemon, and maybe a little like a little herb. Like a little coriander, oregano, something like that, cilantro.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. That's my diet in general. You might have seen me eating a cheeseburger today, but in general, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited about. That's what I feel like the nutrition is. It's not financially where the like bank is, but
Right.
I don't think that's the way to think about things. I think you have to build something that sounds exciting and feels exciting to you, and just people will catch up. It'll
Exactly.
become financially viable over time.
Exactly.
So,
That's a great idea, dude. I grew up eating that. Like I grew up eating just like fruit and meat and rice. I wasn't like I was. My parents hated baby formula and baby food and all that. So like literally just like rice and fruit and meat, dude. That's a genius idea, man.
I think the fillers are like, people will realize, like that when you go to Chipotle and they're just filling up your bowl with rice and beans and then just like giving you a little tiny half scoop of meat, it's not healthy. And it's probably the reason that America is obese
Right.
and sick. And it's, people will catch on. I think the democratization of information is the newest revolution. That's what we're living through. And you can only keep stuff hidden from people for so long.
Right.
The truth will out.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And it's coming. I mean, like the whole Epstein thing, I think, like the leaker for Ukraine, the guy
Yep.
who dropped all this, oh, by the way, there are US troops on the ground in Ukraine.
Wow.
Nobody's talking about it. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's like that's the next like revolution right now, information revolution.
For sure. And it gets spread so fast. We were just talking about Twitter, man, and that's live news. It's so fast. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And information is the next is oh man, it's just spreading, man. Yeah, pour me up on it.
Let's talk about DJing a little bit.
Yeah, let's get it.
So, how did you get started? And was it Bonix, or do you want to? Oh, geez, I poured myself a little thick. That's all right. Do you want to tell the story of how you met Bonix and kind of, or is that part of your like?
It's part of it, man.
DJ birth story.
Yeah, it is. It was Bonix. It was Qbert. It was Shortcut. Like all those dudes, pretty much all the Filipino dudes, man. Because growing up, I never had anyone that looked like me on TV. Excuse me, on TV, on the radio, whatever. That I could be like, yo, like that dude. Besides like Manny Pacquiao, but I wasn't gonna be a professional boxer. You know what I mean? So I stumbled on some Invisible Scratch Pickles VHS. I forget exactly what it was, but it was one of those joints where like, Qbert's wearing like a crazy costume and just scratching his ass off, and I was just like, wow. Like I want to do this. I saw him talking and kind of taking these samples and chopping them up with a fader, almost like he was like rapping. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, I want to do that. I already had a music background. I played guitar, violin, piano growing up, and I was in my like punk era, if you will. Kind of turning a side eye to the classical music that I grew up on, and I'm just like, I want to do something different. And I saw the turntable is that instrument.
Yep.
And yeah, just started going out. And Southside was really like the popping place for nightlife at the time. I was like 18, 19, 20, sneaking into, S-Bar to watch.
Oh, wow. That's probably where we met, right?
Probably,
At some point. Do you remember when Riz came? Or Tina T?
Yeah.
I'm sure Riz came a few times. Like Nugget and Zibby used to bring folks out. It's kind of sad. Like there's not really that culture anymore in Pittsburgh, right? I mean, are you bringing guest DJs to?
Oh yeah. It's a different
now,
vibe. It's not that open format. really cool like creative DJing anymore. It's really strictly like, oh, all I play is house music. Which
But why? Why can't we have like if DJ AM rose from the grave today and just like showed up in the South Side? You don't think that it would burn the house down? You don't think people would lose their minds?
I mean, we would, right? Like,
of course.
But the public now is just so I don't know, and I love house music, man. Like one of my mentors besides Bonix was DJ Strobe, Eric, and
Yeah.
I learned that art form through him. It's obviously a different style than open format hip hop DJing, but there is an art to it. But I guess that's just it's just a new trend, man.
Is that more of the music that you're bringing to Cobra? It seems like it, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
more electronic music.
Electronic, a lot of like if anything, like the disco night is like the cool night or whatnot, but it's a lot of electronic.
What is like the schedule right now for events there?
So we have a rotating residency kind of program going on. I forget what exactly are the days, but Honey has a night there. She does this hip hop night, all female MCs, which is fire.
Whoa.
We have Everything the Light Touches, which is Josh Orange and Royal Haunts. They're both younger cats out the city, super talented producers, DJs, high energy, man, super high energy from the rip. It's really fun to watch. We also have Long Turn does a night there, Long Turn Music. Known those boys for a really long time. They're smart dudes, very business minded, but also very tasteful at the same time. And they bring in a lot of the up and coming electronic talent. I'm missing someone else, but yeah,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So how much fun has it been to have your own place that you can book out?
It's so cool, man, because when I was coming up, I was a little punk dude. Like I was getting fired from all these places in Southside for playing hip hop, dude. Literally, man.
We don't want that element. We don't want that element here.
Right.
Yeah, we're trying to avoid that element. It's like, say it in a slightly more racist way. I'd be interested.
I've heard that one.
I'd be interested if. Wow.
Yeah, but it's cool, man, because you get to provide this platform for these kids that we probably didn't have. You have a beautiful space, probably one of the best, if not the best, sound system in town.
Which is what Function?
It's Void.
Audio or
Void.
Void? Yeah.
Void Acoustics.
Did you have somebody come in and set it up, or?
Yeah, we had to. It was a whole process, man. Like they're a little bit easier to get now. 3-4 years down the road, but initially when we first opened, we had to get them straight from the source in Europe. They had to bring like a licensed guy in to spec it out and tune everything. So it was quite the process.
That's what's up. If you have like that level of sound system, could you have some like bigger names come through, or have you thought about it? Like doing more, I don't know, like destination kind of nights?
Yeah. I mean, we have, I guess this was pre-pandemic, but I guess post-pandemic, we've had a lot of big artists come through too. But it's just all whatever fits the vibe. It's not. We pride ourselves in not necessarily being a nightclub. It's more of a lounge.
Yeah, which Pittsburgh needs.
Yeah,
I mean, it probably needs both.
Right.
There's like what Cavo and maybe Foxtail. I'm thinking of the clubs.
I thought Foxtail was gone. No,
I thought
Did
they
they
came
close?
back. They bounced back. They bounced back.
I thought they closed like literally. I thought it was like last week, but I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I mean I remember when they had to shut down briefly,
Right.
but I'm pretty sure they bounced back. I know Jay Spin was playing there for a second.
Okay.
But Cavo, Digital Dave at Cavo, and like Strobe before him, right? For
Right.
years. And then what are the other clubs?
That's honestly all I can think of, dude.
I mean, otherwise,
Strip District has changed, and that used to be like the
mhm.
epicenter.
and
for nightlife.
Station Square.
Yeah.
Station Square was amazing.
Station
Bar
Square,
room
yeah.
and
Zen.
Zen,
Yeah.
Matrix.
Matrix. Oh my, that was a little bit before my time, but all the stories I heard there.
You never
man,
went to
damn.
Matrix?
No, dude.
Oh, they had
Yeah.
4 rooms. Each room was a different genre. So they had like the front room was all open format. Then you kept going. It was reggae. Then you kept going. It was house and electronic music. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we were always at Barroom because that's where Bonix was
Right.
DJing. He did Thursday night live broadcasts for 96.1 Kiss.
Yeah.
Scotro was working
Scotro,
the tech, and he was playing "Lick Me Like a Lollipop" extended intro, and
the funky mix.
The Kanye remix.
Yeah.
And then he would let me rock. So that was kind of like the first time I ever really DJ'd for any crowd, and it was 1,000 people at Barroom.
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
Yeah, I miss DJing. Are you playing out at all, or mostly busy?
I play occasionally. I do, like I said, I get to pick and choose, and I'm grateful that I kind of get to, pick and choose my battles. But yeah, I play out. I do mostly food centric stuff. I do a dim sum brunch. I'm doing that tomorrow at Parlor. Corporate events, stuff like that, man.
That's smart. Yeah, I like the food centric idea too. This is my idea. See if you want to take me up on this.
Oh, let's go.
You could make it happen. Called Stone Age Brunch, possibly Stoned Age Brunch, but I think Stone is better. And it's technology free brunch. So
like check your phone in at the door or something.
Yep. Bag the phones. It's all 45s. Bring in bus crates. Bring in people from out of town that collect and play 45s. Maybe we do 12 inches occasionally, but in general, like a 45 night where it's just turntables, no computers, no tech. Give out Polaroid cameras on the tables.
That's awesome. That sounds really cool. But I feel like a lot of people get anxiety without their phones.
That's what I'm here for. What do you mean? That's the point.
Yeah.
Like we would have security and stuff. It's not like
everyone has their own like little personal phone locker, like you put your Apple Watch and your phone in there.
Yeah, it'd be the same way that did you see Dave Chappelle or have you seen Dave Chappelle live in the last 10 years? 10 years?
I've never seen him live, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first time I saw it happen. I think I've done it maybe one other time since, also for a comedy show.
Okay.
And it works perfectly. I mean, they give you your phone back. It's just in like a little magnetic locker so it doesn't ring.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
It's dope.
That's wild. Okay. that sounds like a good idea, man, just to bring it back because it's really, I was watching like Coachella streams and stuff, and it's so weird.
It's brutal.
Everyone just has their phone.
It's brutal. It gives me anxiety to be standing behind 100 cell phones. I'm thinking about it because I'm going to Detroit in 2 weeks. I'll be at the Movement Festival for my 20th year.
Movement. When did they change from Demph to Movement? Because I missed that.
Yeah. No, that's cool that you remember Demph. It was probably like 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. And there was another name too. I don't know if I'll come up with it, but let's see. Detroit Electronic Music Festival, Movement. It was something Power or something.
Okay.
And just for like 1 year. But yeah, I mean, it's, that festival is a lot better for it, I will say, just because it's all techno people and most people have their acts together. Like, for example, when's the last time you went to a music festival and there were no totems at all? Like, no flags, no totems.
Right.
That's Movement.
Yeah.
There's none.
Right.
Like, if somebody holds one up, they just like...
Right.
They get taken care of. I'm just kidding. Detroit is very friendly. It's a very friendly place, a loving place, which is why it has such a loving reputation.
Sure.
No,
it is. Detroit's so dope.
Have you traveled to DJ much or
not recently, man? Like I said, pre the world ending, like I was everywhere, man. I had residencies outside of town a month, Philly, DC, New York, whatever. I play South by Southwest every year in Austin. But yeah, I'm kind of just in monk mode right now, just trying to find out the why again. You know what I mean? 10, 15 years down the road, I don't know. So you lose it. It just happens. It's natural. So I'm just in my shell trying to find out that why.
The things that excited you were like scratch culture, and maybe making edits or mashups, or do you think that has maybe it's the actual music itself that's changed and it wasn't necessarily the pandemic or your motivation? It was like the popular music and the sound of music maybe shifted.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a culmination of all that, man. Yeah, you're right. I mean, just the kind of like the scratch scene not being as prevalent in DJ culture, um, and the edits and all that. But yeah, I mean, we're still doing it, keeping it moving.
Do you collect MP3s?
Oh yeah, I'm still, like I said, I'm still practicing. When I can, not every day. We'll say every other day. Still downloading shit. Still buying vinyl.
Nice. Do you buy 45s or
12-inch LPs, like in just record store. Hit up Jerry's, hit up Half Price Books, whatever. Just trying to find some cool shit.
Yeah. Have you made music?
Not recently, man. I used to do that every day. I mean, during lockdown and even a little bit afterwards. Um, playing guitar. I had this like little cool loop setup I had in my old apartment where I could loop guitar beats and then layer a scratch on top of it, maybe like drum something out on a drum pad. Um, and that was cool, but I don't know. I don't know if it was just reach or not getting that gratification. But I don't know, just kind of faded out.
It's really hard to keep doing something if you're not feeling that people are connecting with it.
Right.
I think the thing that's been most exciting, while it's been great catching up with a bunch of old friends and meeting new people on the podcast, the thing that's been exciting about it is how people are getting engaged, is how it's just ramping up. Every
Yeah.
episode is more
That's cool.
people interested, more people getting involved, more people hitting me up to try to come hang. And it's weird because it's kind of like a pandemic project.
Right.
But I'm not interested in doing it remote. So it's not ever going to be the Phenom, Take 5, whatever.
Right.
Like I'm in Texas, you're in LA thing.
Yeah.
It's only going to be in person.
Right.
And so I guess that saves it a little bit from being that, we moved on.
Right.
Thing. And for me, it's a lot of it is about sound quality, but I think it's more than that, right? It's about being somewhere with somebody else for a period of time.
1,000%. Yeah. 1,000%.
And like making room for that.
Yes,
for
absolutely.
that personal. What about your personal life? You living by yourself?
No, I'm actually back with the parents. My mom had double knee surgery.
Oof.
Maybe like a year and a half ago. So that kind of just feeds into, like I said before, just being in the monk mode, trying to find out the why. Been out the crib for 10 years, whatever. So it's cool to be back, helping them out because they obviously helped me out for so much. Just building a good relationship again, because our relationship definitely wasn't super strong. I got kicked out the crib for smoking weed, at young age and whatever. But we're finding our similarities, learning from their struggles, their wins, their mistakes, and seeing a mirror of that to myself is really healing, if you will. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, I really want to have a chance to live either with or close to my parents again at some point. I did it after I graduated college, which I think is a pretty standard story, especially since they were in Pittsburgh and I had just finished at Pitt. But something about actually being an adult now, I feel like I'd get a lot more out of it. I'd be able to learn a lot more from them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I think at least what I'm going to do is, so right now I'm starting to look for a new job, and what I'll do is I'll put in my contract a stipulation that I'm not starting work until a month or two after I finish this job.
Right.
It's just like, look, I'm going to go hang out with my parents for a month.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat dinner with my mom every day for 30 days.
Right.
And just see what I learn.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a lot.
It is, man. And like I said, it's that mirror, dude. Like you see these things, their mannerisms, even like the way your parents interact with each other, the way they show affection. Like you just see like, oh my God, it just opens up this like box of like things that are like, whether good or bad, it's just cool to see that reflection and to kind of just ponder on that and be like, oh, okay, this is what I learned and this is why I do this,
Whoa. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. We're such genetic creatures. It's very much more genetic than we want to think about. And it's not just them, right? It's their parents, their ancestors, and their ancestors. And when we're acting, we're not acting with our own will. We're acting with this force that's kind of ancient.
Mm-hmm.
And you're so right that if you have an opportunity to learn about it and figure out where it comes from and why you behave the way you behave, I think that's so critical.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Nice.
Out here, man.
All right. Let's lay some cuts for these folks.
All right. Good talking, man. That was fun.
Yep.
What?
Bamboo, 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 bamboo.
What? Huh? What? Huh?
Ayo.